So what happens when you are in your Dharma? What comes when you are in your Dharma? Before we go there, maybe we can just quickly stop and look at what happens when you are not in your Dharma. When you are not in your Dharma, you get a lot of obstacles. You get a lot of difficulties. You get a lot of hardships. You're trying to go against the grain of who you are because you think this is what you're supposed to do. You think this is where you're supposed to be headed. And you keep getting signals and messages, but you keep going ahead because you think this is what's going to bring me happiness, because you are in pursuit of happiness. But when you let go and you allow yourself to be guided, you allow yourself to hear that silent voice, that voice that's coming from the deeper recesses of your heart, then suddenly things start to fall into place. Suddenly phone calls come in, people come up, and then you get support of nature in ways that cannot even be imagined. And you stop to think, oh, how could this have happened? I could have never calculated it this way. So basically you get full support of nature and you are on your path now. It doesn't mean that it's going to be all rosy. There's still going to be, some cleansing that you might need to do. There's still going to be some challenges that are going to come. So while you are going up the steps, you're going to have to put in some effort, but you will get that sense of knowing that this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the direction I'm supposed to be heading in. Whether I get there today or tomorrow or later, this is the direction that I know I am supposed to be in. And there are other more wonderful concrete things that happen when you are in your Dharma according to the Shastras. And this is where the rest of the sutra comes in. Usually this sutra is translated as Dharma, Arta, Kama, Mokshanam. Meaning, you're supposed to follow religious law. You're supposed to, do this, don't do that. And then you're supposed to desire wealth and large finances, easy living, or anything, material in the word, which is Arta. That's how it's translated. After which, you are also supposed to have the desire for love, which can be, love from more abstract to a more carnal or physical level, desire, lust, and then more refined forms of love. And after which, after you have satisfied all these gross desires, you may then retreat perhaps in your older age, and this is the pattern that is usually followed in Indian culture, to an ashram, or you may devote your life to just doing japa and doing prayers to a god so that you may attain moksha, liberation, which is interpreted as moksha from desires, because there can be no happiness unless you have no desires, because desires bring, some kind of misfortune. But this is not necessarily correct. And I know you're probably hearing this or you read it somewhere and you're like, I don't want this. I'm not going to buy this. This is not going to, doesn't bring you happiness. And we all want to be happy at no matter what, but there's a good way of being happy without having to pay the price of death, which in order to gain moksha or eventual happiness. So the alternative interpretation that, I'm here to offer you is when you are in your Dharma, which means you are in tune with your internal voice, and you got nature's support, then you don't have to worry. When you are in your Dharma, it means you are in harmony, you are in sync with all of cosmos, because you are doing what you came here to do. You are following the right path. So everything in nature is going to come to help you. Arta, which are the financial needs, which are, the basic requirements for us to be able to live and survive in our human bodies. You need to eat every day. You need to clothe yourself every day. There are certain basic things that you need to take care of. Nature is going to take care of all your artas. Nature is going to supply for you that which is needed for you to fulfill your dharma. And this is the magic of that sutra that is usually not looked at. It's just completely forgotten. It's just people don't know how to understand this anymore. So once you are in your dharma, Arta flows, Arta comes. If it's not coming right away, then you will be shown the way which will take you into more prosperity so that you can have a better life and thereby also help the ones around you. Once you have Dharma secured and Arta is already in your home, then Kama, all the desires, whether they are sharing with your spouse or with other family members or with children or with friends or with a greater family at large, the desires that fill the heart, the desire of love that fills the heart, all those will also come because you'll already have the happiness from following your Dharma, that self-fulfillment. You'll have no worries from having to run after money to make sure that you have enough food to eat and the roof to be on top of your head. Then how can you not enjoy all the bliss that life will bring you, whether it's of a carnal nature or it's of a higher, more refined heart level value? And when you have all these three, it means your heart is full. You have no worries. You are on the right path and life is bliss. You sit down in the early morning or later in the evening during the Sandhi times, the times where light changes. That's the gap for sunrise and sunset. You sit down, whether you think about God or you don't think about God, but you quiet yourself and you just close your eyes and you go into that space in your heart and you are liberated. You are happy because you are in your Dharma. You have everything that your body needs, that you need to keep your family going, to keep your friends all around you happy and loved. And then that is your liberation. It is also, this is not something that just the Shastras talk about. This is in every religion if you know how to read in between the lines and go to the core of the message. It's what Jesus said, for example, in the Gospels. The kingdom of heaven is in your hearts. It's right here, right now. It's not something that's going to come in 1,000 years or, whenever. It's right here, it's right now. Moksha is not going to come after you relinquish your body. It's not going to come after you pay the price of death. Death is just a transition. Moksha is going to come when you are in your Dharma, when you let nature support you so it takes you where you are meant to go, and then you have that peace and that silence that brings you liberation, moksha, from the gnawing desires that keep your mind running on bad fuel and make you unhappy, stress you out, and make you age before time.